Welcome. On this video, I want to take a minute to talk about the journey itself when it comes to creating change with your dog. And again, people will, often ask, well, Dale, how long should I expect it to take to see results? And here's the thing to understand, in terms of not just the system, but in terms of dogs as social animals, relationship. And again, I always, take, the example of the parent and child to help people line things up, because it's very important to start to get a sense as to not just why, people struggle in the relationships with their dogs, but even in terms of lining things up, in terms of why you want to interact the way that I show. The issue about change itself, how it's defined, it comes through the dog owner, just like the parent. And so when you look at the whole issue about the question is, well, how long? Well, what I would encourage people to think about, again, line this stuff up, consider the child example. The more selfish, and out of control the child is, to a point of almost being like a bully, then at that moment of coming to that realization as a parent, and then again walking this back in terms of causation to the parenting style, because understand that's the big issue here, and then moving into a different parenting style, a different way of interacting and engaging, being dialed in, being proactive, all those themes you have to look at, the whole thing with just how selfish the child is to understand or know how long it's going to take. Now, but that's not just how long it's going to take for change, but I talk about structure and and having a sense of how restrictive that structure should be, in terms of, again, of say ground. You need to ground the child. You can't have them maybe going to little Johnny's house to hang out because it's a problem. All those things, all those themes that go along with it, all those things are part of it. It's all part of getting a sense of how long, how restrictive. But then the good news to the system is that it's not just about managing a problem anymore. Understand, when I talk about what's popular, I talk about bribing dogs and the issue about appearances and assumptions that people are making. And then understand that locks people into never actually ever fixing the problem. You're into a management situation. You're managing a problem until something bad happens. And the issue about how things look. I mean, dogs can look very balanced as you're petting all over them. They're, moving around their environment. Just like a selfish child can look great as they're playing their video games, having their ice cream, doing their thing, right? I mean, line this stuff up. I mean, this is the problem. People sometimes they look at the situation with dogs as social animals, and they just assume somehow it's different. It doesn't make you sense to me. You can get away with, your emotions like that. You can get away with certain things and it not have an effect on the relationship. But understand, dogs are different than a parrot. I say this, than a parrot and a cat. I mean, I love cats. I have a cat. I love all sorts of animals. But, the issue about causation, about depth of relationship, dogs are different that way. They're amazing animals, and I appreciate dogs for the amazing animals that they really are. But again, to draw a comparison, again, I encourage you, if you ever have a question about why, like why this or why that, or what, I would encourage you to go and study the parenting dynamic, especially permissive. You want to know why things go the way they go, why people have a certain attitude, why they want to reject certain things, why things all. Look at the permissive study the permissive parenting dynamic. It'll all make sense, even with what's going on right now in the dog training world. But getting back to the main point of saying, well, how long? Well, the good news is that now, through a interaction-based approach, now change is going to happen. See, that's the good news here. You're not just, locked down into like a management situation. Those things are helpful through the create and to control, but here's the the good news is now change is happening. There's no barriers, there's no roadblocks, and so those things can fade out. Again, go back to the parenting example. Just like as a child's attitude is changing, okay, now we can go to Disney World and we can go, I'm going to have some fun now because their attitude has changed, okay? And now you can kind of branch off from there and the relationship's better. It's all the same stuff. So again, how long is really, you know, you have to really get a sense as to where you're standing in the relationship first. The interaction-based methodology is going to reveal that. And then from there, you know, getting a sense of how much control that dog has gained. And so understand, some dogs, I call them the 1 percentile dogs. They're going to seem like they're going to push things right over the edge. But just think of the child, okay? Some kids need a stronger parent, and they're going to seem like they're going to push right over the edge. But it's fixable. Understand, there's always hope so long as we're willing to change, so long as we're willing to embrace the truth, we're willing to engage, we're willing to be proactive, we're willing to do all those things, then change is going to happen. That's the good news. So it all comes down to the owner. Understand, this is a human issue. This is nothing to do with dogs at all that way. I walk into a situation, I barely look at the dog. Okay, I'm looking right at that person, and not in a critical way that way. I'm looking at the person because that person is the key. They're the agent of change. They make all the difference in the world, good or bad. Okay, that's just how it is. So there has to be certain acceptance of certain realities to all this. So, but all to say that I've seen people change incredibly fast. You know, that's why I give people kind of a, you know, a idea, say, well, it could be, you know, it could be a few weeks for sure. But people, everyone's different. People can change just like that. Because understand, when you take hold of the information, you change just like that, that dog feels that. That dog senses that even before you do anything else. Like if you embrace the truth and you're like, you know what? I understand now. I'm going to go and I'm going to create change here. It's going to be different. That dog feels that. It's incredible. So my encouragement to people is just, you know, it doesn't matter if it takes a while or if it's very fast. You know, the structure is meant to help take the stress off people with the crate. You want control. You don't want bad things happening, and just move forward. You know, every time you connect with your dog is another opportunity to create change. That's the way that people need to look at this. So again, I encourage anyone looking for answers, check out my website. I have lots of options there to help people, whether it's in person, distance, you know, just talking to me for like a consult for an hour. It can do incredible things in terms of really getting people their thinking straight. So contact me again if you have any questions. I'll be more than happy to help you out. But again, all to say that change is about the human, and the quicker you get it and you take a hold of it, the faster change is going to happen. Thanks for watching.